Hello, you guys. It's a new month. Happy July. Well, by the time you're seeing this, it's the end of the month, but that's okay. So, with the new month, we have to pick a new book. I'm waiting on a book from the library, so I'm not sure when that's going to come in, but I'm going to go ahead and pick a book from Perry, and we'll try to get that read. And then because the book from the library is a book club book, so we'll see. Definitely want to get that read before the end of the month, obviously, and before I have to take it back to the library. But whatever Perry decides will be our first book. So I always get so nervous because I'm like, am I going to be in the mood to read what Perry picked out? Let's see. The Vows We Break. The Vows We Break. All right. So that is this book. It is another Ollie's pick. Don't sleep. Like, Ollie's be coming through with this sneaky. Like, I feel like almost every book that I've gotten from Ollie's, I've rated high. So hopefully this stays in that realm. As you can see, we have Black people on the cover. I don't know if this is urban fiction, but it's kind of giving that. And let me read the synopsis for you. It says, Chimera Davis had a plan to jumpstart her life and land on Easy Street, but a disastrous marriage has her making amends and picking up the pieces. Pick up the pieces. It's a struggle to balance her new responsibilities and her ex, who keeps pressuring her for another chance. All of this has her family scandalized, and with her minister father's health suffering, trying to do the right thing is pulling Chimera and the only man she's ever loved further and further apart. But as Chimera's bad luck piles up, she senses there's something more than faulty decisions at play. Someone's playing a desperate, dangerous game with her life, and she'll have to win if she wants to survive. Okay, and so this is a part of a series, because it says that, yeah. So I don't know if this is the first book in the series. This might be like the second book in the series, but I'm hoping that, that doesn't matter. This seems like it'll be quick and easy to get through. So I'm excited. Let's get into it. The Vows We Break. Till lies do us part. Till lies do us part. Hey guys. So, about this book. I started to read it, and I always read all of the acknowledgments, dedication, things like that. As I was reading those things, I realized that this is a sequel. So, I gotta read the books in order. Like, there's some, series that you can read out of order, and it really won't matter. It won't make a big difference. But I just kind of felt like this one I needed to read in order. So I looked up the series on Hoopla, and thankfully I was able to get it on Hoopla. I saw it on Libby, but my library didn't have it. So Hoopla for the win. And they had the entire series on there. So it's 3 books. So I was happy about that. Okay. So I'm like, all right. The first book is called The Vows We Break. So I started to read that. I was very, very, very close to DNFing this book because the subject matter was not something that I really wanted to read. So let me tell you what the book was about. So The Vows We Play. There's this girl. Her name is Chimera or Kimmy. And she's dating this married man. Hold on, y'all. I gotta clean my glasses off. Okay. So the girl is dating this married man. She knows he's married. And she's fine with that. Like she don't want, she just wants the perks, right? This man is rich, okay? So he be, buying her things and treating her nice and taking her out to nice restaurants and, all of this stuff. So she's like, I'm cool with this arrangement. But then out of nowhere, the man proposes to her. And she's like, hold on, ain't you married already? And not only that, his wife is there. Like his wife is at the proposal. And so, obviously, if you put two and two together, this is a poly, relationship, a poly book. I won't say romance because it was not no romance. This book is a thriller. Okay. So, yeah. The girl at first, she's like, yo, like, what? You gonna try to propose to me and you got your wife here and what is this? She's very confused. She doesn't give him an answer. She's like, I don't know, this is weird. So she goes about her days, her life. She goes to work. And girl, why she done got fired for, they were saying, she works at a bank and they were saying that her drawers were coming up short. And she's like, that's weird. There's no way that my drawers are coming up short. Like, there's no, like, they were insinuating that she was stealing. And she's like, I am not stealing. Like, there's no way. She also has the best friend, I forget her name, but she also works at the bank. And, her friend is like, what's going on? Like, so the girl gets fired. And so she storms out of there. And her friend is like, what's going on? Like, why'd you leave like that? Da, 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 da. And the girl's like, girl, I done got fired. And she's like, that's crazy. And also our girl, she lives at home with her parents. So she is, young. I think she might be like 25, 26. And she's living with her parents. She just lost her job. And she also has this dream of like opening up this boutique with her friend. So she's just in this position to where she feels like she needs money. So, in pops in the guy again and he's asking her like, come on, like marry me, whatever. Also his wife, the guy's wife is very like, you just don't like her immediately. She's very rude and condescending and, just one of those types, like one of those. At this point, she's like thinking that she's thinking about it. So the wife is like really pushing this as well. The wife is like really pushing like, come, like join us, like you're going to get all these perks and da, 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 da. It finally gets to a point where she's like, okay, I'm going to do it. So the wife gives her this contract and the contract is sketchy. She's supposed to be around whenever he, wants her around. She's not allowed to be with anybody else, physically. If she decides to leave, it's like a 10-year contract. So if she decides to leave early, then she leaves with nothing. It says some vague things like you perform these wifely duties and you will get benefits, perks, and things like that. And she's like, so like, what's the benefits and the perks? And she's like, oh, cars, money, whatever. She skims over this contract, but I don't think she like really dives deep into it. She signs it anyways, and they become sister wives. So the girl like immediately takes her to a doctor and is like, you got to get checked out or whatever, make sure you're clean, all of this stuff. And so, yeah, it's some shady stuff going on there. Oh, also, Kamara also has this other guy that she's had a crush on him since they were young. And then when they got a little older, they became F buddies. But this whole time, like, she really got feelings for him. And he, just kind of playing her a little bit. He just, he's not, he likes her and he likes being with her, but he's, as far as like committing to her, he hasn't done that yet. So he had kind of broken her heart and moved away, but now he's back in town. So they, Kamara and her friend, they are going to the club, and she's hoping to see the guy there. They get to the club or whatever, and they don't see him yet, but this other guy comes up, and he's offering to buy them drinks, and he's like, can I have this dance? And so they go on a dance floor, and they are dancing, grinding, she's having fun. She spots the guy like on a balcony or something, and so she's trying to make him jealous. So she's like, she's really getting into it. Next thing we know, her new husband yanks her up out of there. And the guy, the other guy's like, hey, like, the lady said she don't want to go with you, da da da. And the guy, I can't remember if he punches him, or I can't remember what happens, but it's a mess. So he yanks her up out of there. He's like, who was that dude? She's like, this is a guy I was just dancing with. And he takes her back home, whatever. He's like, go to your room. So she goes to her room, and then he ends up coming to the room, and he smacks the shit out of her. So like that, with the other wife, and then that, I was just like, this is getting a little serious. Like, I don't know if I really want to read something like this right now. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. But I keep reading. And, it's kind of like a car crash where you just can't help but look. So I just keep reading, and eventually I ended up finishing the book, you guys. So I kind of have to give the book 4 stars. Even though it was like a subject matter that I don't really like, that I wasn't really feeling, that I didn't, I don't want to necessarily read about, abuse and things like that. But it ended up being a pretty good thriller. It got to a point where I was really trying to see like what was happening next, and I was flipping them pages. So I kind of have to give it 4 stars, to where like, it was a pretty good book to me. The pacing was well. There was a lot of things involved. Come to find out that the girl is not, he don't just have one wife already. He has 2 wives already. So our girl is wife number 3. Okay. And wife number 2 is pregnant. So it's a whole lot of, things going on with that. I don't want to spoil the book, but it was a lot of like, twists and turns, and it was just crazy. It was a mess. Like a lot of like totally like Lifetime, like crazy stuff going on. I was thinking that I might want to take a break from it, but I kind of just want to get through it. I kind of want to get through the rest of the series. I don't want to like take a break and then have to jump back into it. So like, I'm just going to read the rest of the series. I have a book on hold at the library. So unless that comes through, then I might take a break. But I'm going to go ahead and start book 2 and see how that goes. And I'll catch you guys in the next clip. Hey, you guys. Oh my gosh. It is so freaking hot. Like, I can't. But I am out today. I got the car today. I'm out of the house. I don't usually like get out the house that much. I'll be in the house, especially on days like today. It's like 90 degrees. But I'm out. So I figured like let's do some like book shopping. I'm really not supposed to be up in here spending money on books, but I'm gonna just see what they got. I'm at Ollie's, by the way. So if you know, you know. Ollie's be coming through in a clutch with them gems. So yeah, let me just pop in here and see what they got. And then I gotta go to the library and then we'll go home. Hey guys, I'm back from my little outing. And I'm glad because it is too hot to be outside, like too hot. Anyways, let me talk real quick about the Vows We Break. So I'm about 100 pages in, and I will say I'm enjoying this more than the first one. And not to say that the first one was bad, because, you know, I did like it. But I just didn't like, as I was reading it, you know, especially like in the beginning, you can see that it's headed towards like an abusive situation. And, you know, I didn't like that. I guess it was good that it made me feel things, but yeah, that's just, you know, that's not something that I typically read in books and not something I'm typically like looking forward to. Even though that book overall was good, it wasn't too bad, you know, but it was still good. Anyways, this one, let's see where we're leaving off. So it's gonna be kind of a spoiler from the first book, but not too much. I'm not gonna, you know, do too much. But our girl Chimera she had a baby. She had a baby. You know, she was married to the dude. His name is Leo. And she was also messing with, you know, her real, what would you call it? Like the real person that she was in love with. So she was also messing with him. So we have an issue going on to where we don't know who the father is. So we got that going on. There's a lot going on in this book. So we have that. And then we have her dad is a preacher. And, you know, he runs the church or whatever. However, because of like her scandal, you know, everybody at church has found out about that. And so, you know, people are leaving the church. So it's causing them issues, you know, in terms of membership and, you know, I guess the future, you know, of the church, like if it can last, you know. So we have that. Also, her father is sick. So there's that. He's just sick. And you know how men be, they be like, nah, it's cool. But it's not cool. And then, okay, so back to the girl and the baby. So she had to have the baby prematurely. So the guy, Leo, he had been kind of leaving her alone for a while. But, you know, he's just like, you know, this my baby, you know. And she's like adamant, like she doesn't know who the father is, but she definitely doesn't want it to be Leo. So she's like, it's not your baby, it's the other guy's, you know, da da da. And she's telling the other guy too, because she's trying to work on a relationship with this guy. His name is Jamad. She's trying to work on a relationship with him. So she's like really telling him like, no, you're the father. Like, it's you. Even though she doesn't know for sure. And Leo had been leaving her alone, but it's getting to the point where the baby is, he's doing well, and he's they're able to bring him home. So right at this point, he's like Leo is really popping up. He even popped up to the hospital to see the baby, but they wouldn't let him see him because he's not like on the list or whatever. But he's like, yeah, I want to see my child. And so yeah, we have that situation going on. I won't say too much about it, but I'm enjoying it. I love that I can just breeze through it really quick. I'm already on page 100, and it's less than 300 pages. Like, it is 243 pages. So I'll be able to finish this book fairly quickly. I'm going on a trip later this week. So I probably will be able to finish it before the trip. And then there's the third book. I'll have to read that on ebook style. So because I got these other books, you know, that I need to read. It's hard getting books from the library because it's like you have to read them in a certain amount of time. So you have to put your other books on hold. But I think it's always good to have an ebook ready and available, because you never know where you're going to be. You always got your phone with you. So you never know where you're going to be. You probably are not going to have a book with you all the time, but you always have your phone. So it's nice to, you know, just be able to pull out that book and read a little bit. I forgot what I was saying, but it's always good to, you know, just have an ebook to be able to, you know, whip out whenever you need it, read a little bit here and there. So I have that, but also after I read the Vows We Break, I'm gonna go ahead and start. So I'll show you the book that I got from the library. I got The Kiss Countdown. Can you see it? The Kiss Countdown. This is Lily Reed's book club for July. So I'm gonna read this next, and let's see, what is it about? I'm just gonna read the little blurb, the little thing. A struggling event planner and a sinfully hot astronaut must decide if their fake relationship is worth a shot at happily ever after in this starry debut. So, yeah, we're gonna see what that's giving. And then I got When the Vibe is Bright. This is the book club pick for August. So it was available. I had to actually put a request on this to get it. Thankfully, I was able to get it, you know, before the end of the month. So yeah, I got that, but this was already available. So I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and get it and read it. So it seems like it's going to be an enemies to lovers thing. Our girl, she is a costume designer. She designs the carnival. I'm guessing that's the, you know, when they are like half naked and they have like feathers and it's all colorful and they're like dancing in the street. I'm guessing it's that. Yeah, and then we have this guy who is apparently the bane of her existence. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, see, can you see like in the background? So, that should be fun. This is young adult too, so that should be fun. I can't wait to read that. Okay, now what did I get from Ollie's? I saw Queenie and I had to pick it up. I've already read this, and I do plan on doing a video on the book and also the TV show. It's hard. I'll get it out hopefully at some point. I haven't really seen too many people talk about it. I've seen like maybe one other person talk about the series. So, you know, maybe talking about it will bring some buzz back to the show. because I really enjoyed the show. So I want to talk more about it. And yeah, so I went ahead and I got it. I actually saw this the last time I was at Ollie's, and I was like, because I like to only keep on my bookshelf like 4 stars and up. I think this one was a 3 star. Um, so when I first seen it, I like left it there. I like put it, I put it like front and center, just in case like somebody else like wanted to come by and get it. But it's been months since I went to Ollie's, and it was still there, hiding in there. So it's like, I'll just go ahead and get it. It's like, what is the rule when you like are deciding what to keep on your bookshelf or not? And like I said, I like to keep 4 stars and up, but I also, want to keep books that are, popular in culture, and also maybe would teach a message, or teach us something. And I do feel like, even though I didn't enjoy the book, I did enjoy this TV show. And I do think that this story in general has a lot to teach us about mental health. So maybe one day, I don't know. I think about like my children, reading these books, or, maybe a friend who wants to get into reading. Even though, like I said, it's not the best story, there are still things we can learn from it. So I went ahead and got it, added to my collection for $3. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. And then I saw this, Within These Wicked Walls. Reese Witherspoon book, club pick. Yeah, Black author, Jamaican American. I actually saw this book too before, but I don't know. I didn't get it for whatever reason, but this time I got it. So Andromeda, is that the girl's name? Is that how you say it? Andromeda is an exorcist hired to cleanse households of the evil eye. Or she would be hired if her mentor hadn't thrown her out before she could earn her license. Now her only hope for steady work is to find a patron, a rich, well-connected individual who will vouch for her abilities. When a handsome young heir named Magnus reaches out to her to hire her, Andromeda takes the job without question. Never mind that he's rude and demanding and eccentric, that the contract comes with a number of outlandish rules, and that almost a dozen other exorcists had quit before her. If Andromeda wants to earn a living, she has no choice. But she quickly realizes this is a job like no other, with horrifying manifestations at every turn, and that Magnus is hiding far more than she has been trained for. Death is the most likely outcome if she stays, and the reason every exorcist before her has quit. Leaving Magnus to live out his curse alone isn't an option, because heaven help her, she's fallen for him. Stunningly romantic, heart-stopping debut ushers in an exciting new voice in fantasy. Oh Lord, I done picked up another fantasy girl. I think that's probably why I didn't get it the first time, but we're gonna see. At least it kind of has a little bit of romance in it. It's not like too far off in terms of fantasy of what I think. It's kind of giving a thriller to me from the synopsis, but maybe it has a little bit of magic stuff in there. I don't know, but I'll give it a try. I will give it a try, and I'm gonna write this one down and put it in the jar, so Perry will decide when we read this book. But yes, right now we are on the Vows We Break, and then I will start the ebook for the third book in this series, as well as the Kiss Countdown. And then after the Kiss Countdown, we'll read When the Vibe is Right. And then if we have time, we'll let Perry decide our next books. So yeah, that's where we're at, and I'm gonna catch you in the next clip. Hey you guys, I'm back, and I wanted to tell you about what's the book called? The Vows We Break. While I'm doing my hair, child. Okay, so it wasn't bad. It just dragged in certain spots. Like it just kind of went on, and some parts were like so repetitive. That girl and her man Jamad were just like so back and forth. She just kept lying. Like she was always lying, and that was like just getting her into just so much unnecessary stuff. And it gets annoying after a while. And like she keeps lying to the boy, and they keep like having to like, oh, we need to talk, we need to talk, we need to talk. And it's always like, oh, we'll talk later. Like the amount of times they said that they needed to talk in the book felt like probably like 5 times. So it's like, basically a repeat of like some shit happening, her lying about it, him finding out anyways, and then them saying that they need to talk. And it was just, it got annoying. But the author, Briana, is it Briana Cole? The author, she does know how to like keep people invested. I will say that. Like, just the way she writes. Like, it wasn't boring. It just like dragged on a little bit with like the same stuff, to where like by the time I got to the end, I'm like, girl, I'm tired of the shenanigans. But the way she writes, like each chapter kind of, there's always like something going on, and then each chapter kind of like leaves you like on a cliff to where you want to start the next chapter. And that's kind of, so it's like, even though it's annoying, I was like speeding through it. Like I just couldn't put it down, because I wanted to see what happens next. There are also a few plot holes like in the book, like just some things that like couldn't be explained. So there's that. But I gave it 3 stars. I feel like the first book was better, and this one was just kind of like a middleman. Like, obviously, there is a 3rd book in the series. So this one very much just felt like just some random stuff happening, crazy stuff happening. And let's get to the 3rd book. But, girl, I am tired. I am so tired of our main girl. She just so annoying. Like, she just always lying. Like, she just makes bad decisions, and it's just real annoying. I want to read the 3rd book, but I'm gonna have to take a break from them. So it ends, because this is like set up for the 3rd book, right? So it ends, and this is like a little bit of a spoiler, but I'm not gonna tell you everything. But basically, I told you like she ended up having a kid, right? So basically, by the end of the book, her and her kid end up getting kidnapped. And that sets us up for the next book. Basically, the guy like kidnaps them pretty much, and is taking them to some location. And that's kind of where the 3rd book picks up. So I will definitely let you guys know. I might end up getting to it in this video. I might not. I'm sure I'll get to it pretty soon. But I just need a little break from them. So I am starting the Kiss Countdown with Etta Easton. So I just really just read the 1st chapter. So I'm just getting into that. And I will, come back and let you guys know how it is. I'll see you in the next clip. Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about the Kiss Countdown and let you know how I am liking it. So I'm on page 115. I'm, not too far, almost to the middle. And I'm enjoying it. It's just getting started. So we have our main girl. She is an event planner. She got fired from her job, so she's trying to, start her own thing, which I can totally relate to. And also she has her mom, I want to say her mom has sickle cell anemia. So she's, she has her good and her bad days. And right now her parents are on a cross-country trip, in the RV, driving to different places and stuff. I think this is based in Texas. So they're like going to the Grand Canyon and things like that. She was dating this dude, but they had broken up. All right. And our main character, or the guy, she keeps bumping into him in a coffee shop. So one day, her ex shows up at the coffee shop, and he got a new woman, and da 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 da. And so our girl, she's trying to save face. She's trying to, just make it seem like she's not down bad, because not only did she lose her job, but she's about to lose her apartment because, obviously she can't afford it. Not until her business picks up. So she's trying to save face, trying to make it look like she's not down bad. And then she ends up saying that she's dating somebody, that she's seeing somebody. So in walks the dude. Mind you, they may have only seen each other, bumped into each other maybe 2 times. They don't know each other at all. But the astronaut dude walks in, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's my man." Da da da. And he's very confused, but he plays along. And, they get through the whole thing. He tells them, that he's an astronaut. And at first they're not buying it. But then the guy's girl is like, "Oh, yeah, I recognize you from one of your books." Da, da, da. So it's like, it seems like it's legit. And she succeeds in making her ex, feel a certain way. So that's good. But after the ex leaves, then the astronaut guy, his sister walks in and is like, "Oh, this is the girl you've been talking about." So apparently he's been telling his family that he has a girlfriend. He's basically just trying to get them off of his back, because especially his mom and his sister, they feel like he should settle down and things like that. So he's been telling them that he has a girlfriend. So this is kind of where we get our fake dating, trope comes in. And yeah, and we kind of go from there. They do end up living together, which is what I'm just getting into. They're living together. They have this arrangement where they're living together, and they are, they have to show up to places as if they are a couple. They're like, "Oh, well, we should get to know each other." So they're kind of going on dates and stuff, even though I guess they're not calling it that. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And I must say that I am enjoying it. There's nothing too crazy. I enjoy the girl's story. I enjoy her backstory. She talks a little bit about her childhood and moving around a lot. And, she talks about her mom's illness and, things like that. So I'm enjoying that. The guy, the main character, we're getting to know him a little bit, especially from his home life. We're learning that he is getting ready to go on this mission and things like that. So, I'm not too far. This book isn't very long, and I'm already, let's say, a third of the way in it. So, it's an easy read. I'll say that. I'm able to kind of just read and speed through it, and I'm just enjoying it for once. Like, I feel like the past romances that I've been watching have not been fun, have not been, I've just had problems with. But this one, I'm not really getting any problems. It's just a nice couple. The fake dating thing is not my favorite trope. I think it's kind of silly, but I mean, it's a book, Everything is not going to, make sense. Like, these things wouldn't, I guess in my opinion, these things would not happen in real life, but it's a book. So, you can kind of just set that aside and just enjoy it for what it is. So that's what it is. I'm enjoying it, and I will read the rest of this and come back with my final thoughts. Hey guys, I am back to tell you about the Kiss Countdown. So I really liked it. I enjoyed it, surprisingly, because not a lot of romance this year has been hitting for me. But this one, it wasn't bad. Like, it was not a whole lot going on. Like, it didn't like blow my mind or anything, but I mean, it was enjoyable. I was able to get through it. Just the different scenes that we got, they go on this little cabin trip, and just them like getting to know each other, and really the main character just realizing like, oh, she's attracted to him, and she starts to really fall for him and stuff. Now, the fake dating stuff, like I said before, the fake dating, the whole like, I'm in love with you by, not having known each other that long, just being totally in love with this person. It's not realistic. So I kind of, it is what it is. I'm not like going to be super hard on it for that reason, because that's kind of why you read these books anyways. It's not anything too serious, and that you're just here to have fun and get away. So I ended up giving this book 4 stars because, everything was going fine. And then when we get to that third act conflict, by the time you get to like, most of the book is done, most of the book is done. We've had our cute scenes. We've fallen in love, Our main character, she's still caught up in some lies. And this is the point where, the lies are like staring her in the face, and she gets the opportunity to kind of confront things, confront like different things that she's dealing with her, her family, and also with, this whole lie with the whole fake dating thing. And she like runs away. Like, she acts totally immature and just stupid. And I'm like, okay, again, not taking it too seriously, because that's what you get yourself into when you read these types of books. But I just thought that whole third act could have been done a little bit better, could have been, finessed a little bit more. It gets to the point where it's like things she already knows, but she acts like she didn't know. Like, there's a fact throughout the book about this guy and his job. All right. We've been known this, okay? But she happens to fall in love with the guy anyways. And then, like, when things kind of come to the surface, like the lies are, coming to the surface, now you want to like run away scared. Like, you've been known, like you knew some of these things. Like, you already knew what it was with this guy. So now you now you acted funny, and it just, by the end of the book, she realizes like, oh, I was so dumb, and I want you in my life, and and like, it was just, yeah, it just is what it is. But like I said, I enjoyed probably like 80% of the book, so I'm just gonna give it 4 stars for that. And yeah, The Kiss Countdown, like I said, one of the better romance novels. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just like, okay, you know what you're getting yourself into. You know not to expect a whole lot when it comes to romance these days. So maybe I'm just kind of being a little bit more lax right now and just, cutting these books a break. But this one wasn't so bad. I was surprised. I kind of, you know, coming into it was just like I'm not having the best luck with romance, so I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about this. And it seems like a lot of the popular romance books that people like and that people are like hype up, I I don't know. They're just okay to me. But this one was pretty good. Pretty good. So yeah, that's The Kiss Countdown, 4 stars. So I am not gonna get to that other book, When the Vibe is Right. Probably not this month. I've been having a slow reading month, or at least these last couple weeks have been slow. Just since like I went out of town and coming back, like going out of town just like threw my whole routine off, like all my routines. Like I'm just so thrown off, and I have, I'm in my third trimester as well, so I'm just it's you know everything is just kind of scattered right now, and I'm just going with the flow and doing what I can. So I'm probably not going to get to When the Vibe Was Right book. I am going to renew it at the library so that I can take a little bit longer to read it. But I decided to just go ahead and go back to the Briana Cole series. I think it's called the Unconditional series. And I'm just going to read the last book. I was able to get my little break from them, and now I'm ready to jump back in. So I've started, like, I'm on like the first chapter, so I haven't even gotten that far of the new book, which is, or the third book, I should say. I can't remember the title, but I'll put it somewhere. Um, I've started like the first chapter, and I'm excited for this like series to kind of wrap up, and to see like where these characters end up. It's interesting because in this book, it seems like we have the best friend, Adria, her point of view, and then we also have what was the girl's name? It's on the tip of my tongue. What was the girl's name? Chimera. We have both of their point of views. And so, yeah, I'll come back and like tell you once I get a little bit more into it and tell you like what it's about and stuff. But yeah, quick little bump shot. Yeah, third trimester, 29 weeks. Yeah, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm dealing with. So bear with me. Hey, you guys, I'm back. Now, um, I was reading the other book by Briana Cole, and I had to DNF it. I had to just go ahead and say, that's it. I can't do this anymore. So before I was saying like how I needed to take a break from the characters and the mess and all of that stuff. And so I had forgot, the feelings that I was feeling when I was reading those books. But when I started reading again, no. Um, the book it has like two different POVs. One is from the Chimera girl, and the other one is from Adria, the friend. And Adria's first, and I was reading hers, and I'm like, okay, this is I like her story. But when we get to Chimera, oh my gosh, the stuff that she is dealing with this crazy man, it's too much. Like it just gets very, very dark. And like I said, it was already like that. It was already dark. But girl, when she said that the man not only punched her, but put her in a cage and was like, if you want to act like a bee, I'm going to treat you like a bee. I just can continue reading after that. Like, that's not something I want to read. If I'm not a, like, I guess there are people out there who like to read dark stuff like that. And like, there's a whole genre for that, but that's not me. That is not for me. I don't like it. I don't like how I'm feeling, when I'm watching that. I don't like that. So you have to, realize when enough is enough, and you got to just put a book down and you have to DNF it. I don't like to DNF books. I realize that. I don't necessarily like to DNF books. I will, like, maybe certain books I'll be quick to DNF, but as you guys can tell, if you watch this video, if you watch, a previous video, it's hard for me to just put a book down if I'm not enjoying it. I don't know. It's just, it's the perfectionist in me, I guess, where if I start something, I really want to like finish it and see it through. And, I hate not, finishing something. So yeah, but we got to learn to let that go. And I'm learning that as well in like my real life and just other things that I'm doing, that I'm involved in, and just like realizing when to say it's okay to like let it go. So yeah, that's crazy. Like books, but also real life stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna DNF it, and I'm just gonna forget about it. And I'm going to move on to When the Vibe is Right. Now, there are only so many days in the month. Let's see. Oh, well, we got it. Okay, so we have today, and then there's 4 days after that. So today is the 27th. So we actually have a good chunk of time to get through this. I do be busy, also be lazy sometimes. 325 pages. I think we can do it. I think we can do it if we put our back into it. There's not too many, words on the page and stuff. This book feels like fresh. This book feels like nobody has even cracked this open. But anyways, yeah, we're going to get into this. I told you guys a little bit like what it was about, that our girl here, she designs carnival outfits, and I forget what he's doing, but yeah, this should be a good book. Let's hope for a 5-star. Let's really, really hope for a 5-star. Okay, so yeah, like I'm just in a very good mood this morning, and I've got my chai tea here. I made me a little cup of chai tea. I'm watching the Olympics. It's day 1. The opening ceremony was last night, and that was so fun to watch. Seeing the boats pass by, like that's different, and it was fun. I waited all night for America's boat to come through, and to my surprise, Beyonce, she wasn't there in person, but she did like a little intro for the United States. And I was like, hey girl, what are you doing here? Like, I didn't expect you to be here. I mean, she didn't like perform necessarily, but she did a little bit of her song, Yeah, Yeah. And that was fun. It was cute. She had on the USA leotard, and, she was introducing like some of the athletes from the United States. So that was so fun. I love the Olympics, you guys. I love watching the Olympics. Really looking forward to Simone Biles, of course. Looking forward to Noah, I forget his last name, the race, like the runner, and Sha'Carri. Looking forward to seeing, seeing us take home some gold. So yeah, that's what I'm doing with my morning. I'm just gonna just sit here and read, drink my little chai tea, have the Olympics going in the background, and it's a great day. It's a great Saturday. Going on a little date night later. So yeah, I'm totally in a great mood. So I will catch you guys in the next clip. Hey you guys, I am about to go to bed, but I wanted to give you my thoughts on When the Vibe is Right. So far, I'm about halfway, and I'm enjoying it. I don't know if it'll be a 5-star, but definitely a 4 so far. We have this enemies to lovers thing going on, and so we have, what's the girl's name? We have Tess, and her uncle is the owner of this costume brand for like carnival. The costumes are for carnival. And she lives with her uncle and her aunt. Her parents passed away in a car accident. So she lives with her aunt, uncle, and also her cousin. And her and her cousin are close, they're the same age and stuff. Her cousin, she has her own things going on. She's a writer. She got a little boyfriend or whatever. So then there is Brandon, and so Brandon and Tess are like enemies, or at least that's from Tess's perspective, they are enemies. Some things happened right around the time when Tess came to live with her aunt, uncle, and started going to school with her cousin. Some things happened with Brandon, and that kind of caused them to be enemies, or like I said, in her mind. So they have this kind of back and forth going on. At first, it's a little annoying. I won't lie, or it gets annoying. Like, like they're going back and forth. They got their quips with each other, their little spats or whatever. Eventually, it starts to get annoying, but that is when things, start to heat up between the two. Obviously, it's a romance, so we're going into like enemies to lovers territory. So there's some things going on with her uncle and the company, and they are struggling. And Brandon, he's like a social media influencer, and so he has been hired to help the company up their social media presence and hopefully, up their sales and like save their company. The uncle is kind of like, he's considered a legend, but he's also, has that old school mindset. And for him, if things don't turn around, then he's willing to let it go. Like, he's very prideful. Like, he's not going to do certain things to move the business forward. He would rather just let it go. So Tess is now, trying to work with Brandon to, save the company, because she is, like I've said before, she's a costume designer herself, and she's just really, really into it, and she doesn't want to see, the company fade, because, not only is her uncle, the owner of it, also, I think it was her mom. They both owned it. Her mom and her uncle. So, brother and sister. They both owned it, so it's like important to her. So yeah, and that's where I'm at right now. Some stuff has happened, of course, but the romance is starting to pick up a little bit, so that's cute. I just love like young love. It's fun. It's cute. It's fun to read. Yeah, that's all I'll say for now. I hopefully will be able to finish reading this before the end of the month. Hopefully. But you will see. We'll find out in the next clip. Hey guys, I'm back and I'm here to give you my final thoughts on When the Vibe is Right. So, I ended up giving that book 4 stars. It was okay. I liked it. I'm in between like a 3 and a 4. Just because it was just okay. I don't know if I'm just in a funk because any other time I might have loved it. I love young adult. The romance wasn't really like, you know, doing what it needed to do for me. Um, the main character, she was like just so uptight about everything. She was cool, but there were times where I didn't really care for her. There was a lot of like messy scandal type of stuff in it, and I did like that. Like her cousin, I mentioned, she has a little boyfriend, and they had some like issues going on towards the end of the book, and I like that the company that their family owns has a rival with this other company. Pretty much the guy who started this other company used to work under her uncle. So, it's a mess there. And I enjoyed that most. Like, just seeing the different encounters they would have, like her and I guess it was the son. They was calling him Prince. So, seeing our main girl Tess and Prince having, like kind of coming together, butting heads. That was fun. And also just kind of like the mystery of it. Like certain things would happen and we wouldn't know who would be behind it. We wouldn't know like who, might have leaked the information or who was a mole or like what was the sabotage and things like that. So I enjoyed that most about the book. The romance, not as much. I just didn't really like see why they liked each other. Like, I don't really see them fitting together. I don't see them as compatible. Our guy Brandon, the love interest, he is kind of, he's popular. He's like an influencer. He's like a socialite. He has this group of friends and he tries to bring her in, but she doesn't really fit in with the friends, and she kind of fades into the background, and I just don't get why they like each other. I mean, she goes from like being so annoyed and hating this person to like staring at his lips wanting to kiss him. So yeah, I just didn't buy the romance. I mean, maybe that's just a young thing, When you're young, you don't need a reason to like someone. Eventually, like they're kind of back and forth, kind of turns into flirting. So, I mean, when you're young, that's enough. If somebody shows some type of interest, and they look somewhat, cute, why not? Why not develop a crush? I mean, like I said, it's young. So maybe that's the thing. But I just feel like with other young adult books, like the chemistry, I just didn't really feel the chemistry between these two. Like I could see them being really good friends, but as far as like love interests, I didn't get that from this book. So I rated it a 4 on Goodreads, but I might need to bring it down to a 3. Yeah, it's hard. I wish there were like in between. To be honest with you, I hate ranking books because like that is hard. It's subjective. It depends on my mood. Like I don't know. But yeah, I would say in between 3 and 4. It wasn't bad. It was, it was enjoyable. I was able to get through it, I didn't hate it, but I also was not, really excited to pick it up. So yeah, that is my reading month. So as a recap, we read 4 books this month. It's a good month, That's, standard. 1 book a week, standard. That's great. I've been just really tired and a little lazy, and it's just been hard to kind of get in reading. I just haven't been reading as much, so I could have done more, but we're gonna cut ourselves some slack. But the 4 books that we read, the first one is The Vows We Play, and the series, it's called the Unconditional series by Briana Cole. I hope I'm saying that right. It's either Briana or Briana. And I read the first 2 books, The Vows We Play and The Vows We Break. Oh, I have it here. The second book. First book, second book. Y'all know my thoughts on that. It was crazy. If you like urban fiction, if you like a little bit of dark stuff, heavy topics, if you can, stand it, abuse. I don't want to say any other words because, I'm going to hope that one day this channel gets monetized and that I can make some money from these videos. But yeah, a mess. But also interesting, just like I've said before, the way she writes, it makes you want to keep reading. Like, even though I DNF'd the 3rd book, at that point I just couldn't stomach it anymore. But I did want to keep reading. I just couldn't, for my energy, I just couldn't keep reading. But the way she writes a story, she makes you want to keep reading. So props to her. I may check out some other stuff that she's written, depending on the subject matter and things like that. But quick synopsis of the series. We have a girl. She's young. She meets this married man who is rich, and she enjoys dating him, but he wants to marry her. He has multiple wives. He wants her to be wife number 3, and a lot of crazy stuff happens. The only reason she does it is because she wants money. She wants that money. But this is kind of like a cautionary tale to be like, everything that glitter ain't gold. Okay? Money is not everything. And you really got to be careful what decisions you make, because they can really influence your life. So, yeah, that was that. Then I read The Kiss Countdown, and I would say that was probably the best book in this video. The Kiss Countdown, I gave that 4, and I think it would be a solid 4. That book is about a girl who is an event planner and an astronaut, They come together and they get into this like fake dating situation. They end up living together, and they're acting as if they're a couple, and eventually they fall in love. So that was cool. It was cute romance. It's what we expected it to be, and the romance was not bad. It was good. The ending, as we got closer to the ending, fell off a little bit for me. That's why we gave it a 4-star. And then we have the last book that I just told you about, which is When the Vibe is Right. Good, not great, not enough chemistry, but still a little bit of juicy parts in there. So yeah, that was July's reads. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it this far, make sure you subscribe and like this video. Leave me a comment on what you think about that Unconditional series. Seriously, I want to know, is that your vibe? Would you continue reading? Let me know. What are you reading in the comments? Let me know. Stay tuned for August. See what we get into. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.